Alright, good morning. So last night I mentioned that the mosquitoes had been really annoying. They'd been really consistent, but I said that they hadn't been like too crazy in terms of numbers. Well, that changed almost immediately after I filmed that clip. Probably from about 7:30 onwards, the mosquitoes were just insane, just like clouds of mosquitoes. And my head net was like deep in my pack, and same with like the insect repellent I have. So I was just kind of running along and like trying to swat them away, and I'm wearing shorts as well, so getting all these bites on my legs. So eventually, I think at like 8 o'clock, I ended up just setting up camp. And yeah, basically, obviously, I pitched my bug net as quickly as possible. I know I didn't show my campsite set up, and that's basically because I frantically set it up, and then this morning I frantically packed it up as well because there's still lots of mosquitoes this morning, obviously, as well. Although right now I'm out of the forest, I'm in this field, and it seems like there are no mosquitoes here, so that's good. But I'm going to be going back into the forest very soon. But it seems like this morning they haven't been as bad as they were last night anyway. Whatever, it's just part of the trail. And I suspect today won't be particularly interesting. I'm going to try and get as close to the highway to hitchhike to Du Bois, get as close as possible today, but I got a late start because it looks like it might rain. And yeah, I just figured I was in camp, I might as well see if it's going to rain and then like wait a bit. I don't know, but it hasn't been raining, it's just overcast clouds, so it's actually a nice temperature for hiking. So as you can see, it is quite cloudy, but hasn't been raining at all yet, so I'm expecting it'll probably rain a bit, but hopefully not too much. And like I said, I don't think today will be particularly interesting. I think it'll be a mixture of forest and ranch land, farmland or ranch land, just like cattle and forest. I think a mixture of those two, kind of. And because I filmed so much around Knapsack Col, and I also filmed quite a lot yesterday, I don't have much power left for this camera because I've also gone slower than I expected on this stretch. So probably not going to film much today. This is going to be the last clip for a while, and I'll just film a couple clips if there are some nice views. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Had to get my feet wet first thing in the morning. Not ideal. Oh well. Alright, so I'm actually going to combine 2 days into one video here, and that's because I didn't film anything after this point until I reached the town of Du Bois. And the reason for that was, well, the camera was really low battery, but also it did start raining. It didn't rain a huge amount at first, but later in the evening it rained a decent amount. And you know, I just ended up keeping the camera away because it was low battery anyway, so I wouldn't be able to get that much footage, so I didn't really bother with it. So shortly after the last clip, I actually ended up meeting up with a bunch of different hikers. There were actually about 10 different hikers, all kind of in close vicinity. I think pretty much all 10 of them I'd already met at some point in the recent days. And yeah, it was nice hiking with a bunch of different people. Kind of everyone was spread out a bit, so sort of like leapfrogging each other and, you know, hiking with different people for a little bit of time. And yeah, not much was lost in terms of footage. You know, I'll put some photos in at the end of this video, but basically it was pretty cloudy, kind of misty, raining a bit. It was overcast for the whole day. And then towards the end of the day, well, at like 6 p.m. it started raining a lot, and it rained for a few hours. So I actually set up camp pretty early at like 6 p.m. just to get out of the rain, and because I knew it wasn't that far to get to town the next morning, so I just figured I'd stay dry. And honestly, it was a fairly boring stretch of trail. It's, you know, the previous days have been really amazing, so in contrast it was fairly boring. I mean, I enjoy walking through the forest and through these meadows and stuff, but yeah, honestly, as far as forests go, it's kind of more on the boring side of forests, just like not like a lush, you know, or not like ponderosa pine, or like, I don't know, it's just a pretty simple forest, so it was a nice walk though. But you know, it was actually really nice just hanging out with a lot of different people, just, you know, hiking with different people and chatting while we walk, and it made the time go by a lot quicker, so that was actually really nice. It made this stretch less boring than it would have been, I think. And we all kind of had the same plan in mind, which was to camp at a specific junction, because after that point there were comments saying that there was a grizzly bear or multiple grizzly bears in the area, and a rancher had actually been charged by a grizzly fairly recently, and that the grizzly might actually have like a kill, which, you know, is feasting on. So we were all like, we're just going to clump up together, hike this together, and not camp in that area. And so that ended up being actually a really wise call, because the next morning, along the whole trail for like a few miles, there were grizzly bear prints in the dirt and in the mud, like fresh prints, because it had been raining the day before and they would have been washed away. So there were definitely bears in the area that morning, but you know, we were hiking in a group kind of, or at least you would be with one person, so, and everyone has bear spray, and I don't know, definitely safety in numbers, so we all kind of hiked it together. And yeah, it didn't take long to basically reach the highway. We kind of took a shortcut where we would reach the highway at an earlier point than you would if you were staying on the main route, just so that we could get into town early, get food, get our resupply and all that. And that worked out well. You know, we reached the highway and yeah, basically hitchhiked into Du Bois. And actually at the time when we got the ride, because when I got to the road, there were actually like 3 hikers there already who had been waiting for like maybe an hour for a ride. And then I got there with someone else. And yeah, soon after we got a ride with a pickup truck, and actually we put 7 people with all of our packs all in the bed of the pickup truck. And that was actually really fun. I've never had that many people just in the back of a pickup truck. You know, we're all like squished together with our packs, and the views were quite nice on the drive as well. And yeah, it was just a fun time, all 7 of us in the back of a truck. And yeah, so basically we got to town, got food, got burgers, milkshakes, and then got our resupply on food. And then shortly after, actually hitchhiked back out the town. And the reason for hitchhiking back out of the town is that basically we knew that there was this lodge called the Lava Mountain Lodge, which was actually close to where we had hitchhiked from the road into Du Bois. So it'd actually be pretty close to where we left off on the trail. So a few of us hitchhiked out, actually only 5 of us hitchhiked to Lava Mountain Lodge. And that was, so me, Otter, Yeti, Blackout, and Carbomb. And we actually all split a cabin at this lodge. And it was a very simple cabin, not much to it, just a couple of beds, well, 4 beds, so one of us sleeping on the floor, but that was pretty much all that there was. But it was only $20 each, so actually a pretty good deal. And so basically the rest of the day was just spent hanging out at the lodge, drinking beers. It was prime rib night, so we all got steaks and just drank beers and hung out. So yeah, it was a nice evening, nice relaxing time. And that was pretty much it for these 2 days. So I'll put some photos in at the end of this video. so you can see kind of a little bit of what the trail was like, but there's not that many photos. And so yeah, that's all for these 2 days. It was mostly just spent hanging out with people, really, getting some miles in, but not a particularly interesting part of the trail, so not much was missed. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.